More step, ladies and gentlemen, on the ramp of the Millennium Falcon, and I was 7 years old again. Fat little Kevin Smith, 7 years old, watching a movie called Star Wars and falling in love, starting a lifelong love affair that triggered my imagination. I played with my Star Wars figures endlessly. I had a kid across the street, Pete King, who had come down from Brooklyn. He had even better Star Wars toys than me. We combined our two. We had a massive universe. We would sit there and make our adventures together and whatnot, always featuring Boba Fett as the lead, fuck everybody else. And there I was, man. All that shit was gone. Like who I am, what I do for a living, the fact that like I know how the sausage is made, and all that bullshit that one tells themselves, you know, as they do something year after year after year, and it goes from being your dream to your job to your career and back, and sometimes like that. All of it was gone, everything stripped away, and I stood there feeling like a fucking kid, and I promise you, this is a true story, I swear to God, I was hit with a gut punch of emotion, and you know my gut's big, so the punch was massive, and I started crying. I was welled up, my eyes got glassy, and I just got emotional, and I just started crying, not in a blubbery like way, but in a really like, holy fuck, like breathless, you know, absolutely could not believe what I was doing. Fuck the fact that I was like, oh, I'm standing on a set of the Millennium Falcon. I was on the Millennium Falcon, and it was so emotional, I start crying, and Morgan's standing next to me as assistant, and this poor girl's looking at me like, awkward. This fat man's having a midlife crisis on the Millennium Falcon. And you know, she sees me welling up and she's like, aw, and I was like, sorry. And she's like, most people get excited when they see it. And I was like, this is beyond excitement, you know, and I went, whole walk back to the set, because we went back to the set. I'm talking to her and I was just like, you don't understand, man. Like I was 7 years old, I fell in love with Star Wars. That's my first love. We get to the set, I give JJ the world's biggest fucking hug, and I thanked him from the bottom of my heart, because I was just like, you gave me that opportunity to do that. You dialed back my clock, you made me believe in movie magic again. You literally built the Millennium Falcon, dude. You're doing it. You are building the field of dreams, and if JJ builds it, we're all gonna come hard over face, neck, and chest. So it was wonderful, man. I saw old friends who were never really friends, but are people and characters that I love more dearly than blood relatives of mine, man. I saw shit that I haven't seen since I saw those movies a long time ago, man. I saw weapons that fucking, I saw some shit. And I want to tell you so much. But anyway, but it was beautiful, it was emotional, and if he captures 1% of what I went through on the Millennium Falcon on the screen, which I've seen, he showed me a fucking scene cut together, he's already fucking got it. I said, you're gonna make $1 billion. It's the highest grossing movie of all time, dude, because it is a direct doorway to our childhood. Like, it's gonna take people back. And like, I don't like pissing on those other 3 Star Wars movies. I enjoyed them, but I went into those movies with that same clinical, like, I'm an adult. There's no way I could like those movies, these 3 new movies, the same way I liked, you know, fucking Star Wars and Empire and Return of the Jedi when I was a kid. I was a child, and now I'm an adult, and I can't see things the same way. And viewed through that prism, those 3 movies were perfectly acceptable, and I enjoyed them and shit. Even moments like Jar Jar, I could look at a kid next to me, and the kid next to me was enjoying it, so I'm like, your generation's stupid, but whatever, you know. But still, it's like, I took it for what it is. It's a perfectly pleasant children's movie and stuff like that. It's different. From what I saw of episode 7, it's like, fuck that horse shit. That's just lies. Lies you tell yourself to make yourself comfortable and shit. What he's doing is so important. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's making that movie that we're all like, oh man, I hope episodes 1, 2, and 3 are that movie. And I like episodes 1, 2, and 3. I'm not shitting in its mouth. But I'm telling you, what I saw of episode 7, the few scant moments I saw of episode 7, the weapon that Chewie held that made me cum in my pants. What I saw of episode 7, he's already fucking making what to me is the sequel to, not Return of the Jedi, ladies and gentlemen, Empire Strikes Back. It feels that strong. So anybody out there going like, oh, I hope he doesn't fuck it up, he's not gonna fuck it up. He's really crushing it and shit. Now, I told you that story. Thank you. I tell you that story simply so I could tell you these 2 PS stories. One, I started talking about being at the set, and fucking I was in Neuchâtel, Switzerland, at a film festival. There's also an episode of Hollywood Babylon in London, and I talked about it and whatnot. So it was out there in the world, and I got an email from JJ. And he was like, dude, please shut your mouth. He's like, stop talking about the movie. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I kept it as vague and spoiler-free as possible. He goes, dude, it's not that. The things you're saying are beautiful. Just stop telling people that you went at all. And I said, why? And he goes, because now everybody's calling Disney going, I want to go on the Millennium Falcon. And I was like, fuck you, start charging them, man. All those rich people and shit like that. So that was, I thought that was cute. But here's the real reason I wanted to tell you that story. So that happened while I was out in England. And I had this amazing day on set. Before I went, you know, I got the email going, hey, come visit the set. So I asked my wife to come with me. I was like, I didn't even ask her. It's just expected when you're married. You do everything together except shit. So you know, she's like, we're going to the set. And then I got an email going, oh, it's just you for security reasons. Hope you understand. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, fuck her. And, and so, you know, she's like, all right, fuck, go have fun at Star Wars. I was like, I will. And I went off to a galaxy far, far away, and my clock got dialed back, and I fell in love with movie magic again and whatnot. I was like, wow, there is a bit of pixie dust in the air, man. There's a little bit of wonder here. This is neat. So I come back to the hotel, and all I want to do is get the experience down. I didn't have anything with me, you know, to record. I usually podcast and stuff. So I just wanted to put all my feelings down. Everything pretty much that I said to you guys, put it down on paper and whatnot. So I get back to the hotel, furiously journalizing about what I saw on the set of Star Wars. And my wife, since I was out doing that, she was out with Jason's wife, Jordan, and they were having wine and whatnot. So she came back to the room, and you know, she had had a few drinks in her. And so she was like, how was Star Wars? And, you know, and I was like, it was fun, man, it was amazing. I stepped on the Millennium Falcon and I cried, and she's like, ugh, baby. And I was like, I was a baby, but it was worth it. And she was going, I'm glad you had a good time and stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna write I gotta finish writing. I was sitting here writing. She goes, okay. So I go back and I'm writing more about Star Wars. And so since she's had a few drinks in her, all of a sudden, a few minutes later, she comes out to me where I'm in the living room part of the hotel room. And she's just wearing like a hockey jersey and nothing else, which is, you know, you might as well just fucking be wearing nothing else. That's what bing makes it for me, right? So she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I just got to finish writing. She's like, do you want to come play? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. As soon as I finish writing about Star Wars. Which is such a big mistake. And she's sitting there going, are you fucking serious, Kevin Smith? Like when she gets a few drinks in her, she uses my last name, like a critic. And and she's like, are you sure, Kevin Smith? You don't want to fuck, you want to write about Star Wars and shit? And I was like, yes, I have to get it off my chest. Let me get this off my chest and I'll get it all onto your chest and stuff. Just let me finish this and stuff. So I finished writing and whatnot, and then finally I join her, and first she's giving me shit because I didn't go right into it. And I had to get it all, I had to get it out. Now I can concentrate on you. So, you know, there we are having sex, and, you know, when she's had a drink or two, generally, you know, she's a bit more administrative, shall we say. So I get bossed around a little bit more. And she starts with this, harder, you know, and I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta work now? You know, because I'm still thinking kind of about Star Wars and shit. So she's like, harder. I was like, okay. And I'm not a fucker, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you don't picture me on top of her, because you would picture a woman in jeopardy, like, ah! Because if I lose my balance, fucking she's dead. I lay down and she's on top of me, and everything happens on top of me, like a fucking fun park. So there she is up top and whatnot, and she's going harder. I'm trying to push back, but I got a bed under me, and I got no traction and stuff. So, plus I got all this undulating flesh, so it looks like Jabba's trying to cross the floor or something. And she keeps going, harder, harder. I was like, I'm trying. And this is the fucking moment. This is why I told you the other Star Wars story, because this is my favorite thing. You'd imagine that fucking Star Wars visit was the best thing that happened that day. It wasn't. This next part was the best thing, and I told Frank, I love this. Anyway, I'm trying my best, trying to, you know, give it what she needs, and I can't, you know, apparently I'm not meeting the demands. Harder, harder. I was like, I'm trying. She goes, use the Force, fucker! So the next morning, man, like she didn't remember. Next morning I was like, do you know what you said last night? And I told her, she was like, oh my God, never tell anybody that story.